Doing this all in short clips. I have just a cell phone off of my, my cell phone video camera, and I'm just using that, so it just like keeps on clipping out. Sorry. Okay, so I'm in Ohio, and I go see Jennifer at the FBI, and I freak out, and I'm like, I know you guys know who I am, and I showed her a bunch of my stuff, and I showed her, there was like an FBI Wi-Fi that was in my hotel room, and like, I was like, okay, what's going on? And she said that that was like a common, that everyone had that thing on Wi-Fi. FBI. I'm like, I see FBI surveillance on my Wi-Fi channel at the hotel, and you're telling me that's like a common thing. I've never seen that before in my life. And she's like covering it up, whatever. And I'm just like, whatever. And I go to the emergency room in Kentucky because I was having a really weird reaction on my lips, and they end up giving me a psych eval, and my lawyer knew, and I didn't tell her. I didn't know I was having a psych eval, okay? I told them what was going on because they wanted to know why I was in Kentucky, and I told them what was going on, but I was there to get my lips treated, okay? And my lawyer says to me, now, Elizabeth, I want you to take that psych eval. Sherry Flurry said that. And I said, what psych eval? Do you know what I mean? Like, no one said that to me. And I didn't tell her what hospital I was at, okay? I have this on text. So this nurse comes in, and she gives me a psych eval, and she goes and calls the doctor at Good Sam and tells him what I've said, and is making up a few things, like she's not eating, she's not sleeping. And I'm like, I never said that. So I heard her in the ER, and I said to her, I started yelling at her in front of the doctors and the nurses. And then I went back inside my room, and the doctor wouldn't give her permission to Baker Act me. I don't know what happened with that doctor that day, but I'm telling you, I feel like everyone really, like there was just a really malevolent force that like wanted me to be locked up, and he like refused. So I have to give that Kentucky doctor props for not being part of this game. And so then I went back to Ohio, and I'm hanging out, and finally I get to see Eden, okay? And it's been 3 weeks, and I thought that Eden was dead, okay? And I have totally had a nervous breakdown and just totally dropped my basket, okay? Just going nuts, okay? And it's terrible. I just cannot. Okay, so I see Eden in family services, and I don't know where she's been, because the judges said that she can't stay at Kelly's, okay? So I'm under the assumption that Eden is not staying at Kelly's because that's a federal order, and family services has told me that Eden is not staying at Kelly's. So I go to family services 3 weeks, and they wouldn't let me see her, they wouldn't let me talk to her, nothing, okay? They weren't giving me any information. I was calling like a mad woman, nothing. Like, I couldn't get through. You want to talk about just going through total hell? No wonder I totally flipped out and like fucking went like fucking psychotic, yeah, the stress of it really broke me down. Like, I went psychotic. Okay, so then what happened? This is terrible. Okay, so I see Eden, okay? First of all, I get to family services. There's a restraining order waiting for me from my sister Kelly, okay? Saying that I showed up at her house and that I went Rambo, saying that I was going to kidnap Eden because I knew that Eden was staying there, and I didn't know that Eden was staying at Kelly's anymore. I thought that Eden had been removed. And I'm like, what do you mean I showed up at Kelly's house? I've never been to Kelly's house in my life. Like, I know Kelly's address, but I've never been to Kelly's house. And what do you mean I showed up freaking out about Eden? Eden's not staying with Kelly, right? Because the cops are there to give me the restraining order the first time I go to family services. And I'm like, this is totally a lie, and I didn't even have a hearing. Like, who signed this document? This is just further, like, it's just further of this. They were threatening to take away Eden in Las Vegas, okay? And this was them making good on their threat and, like, putting the fucking feds. Yeah, that's who all this is the feds. Because I work for them, and they didn't like what I had to say. So anyways, so Kelly, So I see Eden, and I'm holding the restraining order in my hand. And the meeting's supervised, and I'm in this little room that smells like shit. I've never been in family services in a room in my life. I'm having supervised visits only, 1 hour a week. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, seriously. So I'm holding the restraining order, okay? And I see my kid, and my kid is great. I'm like, what? My kid is perfect. And I'm like, what's going on? And she goes, I've been at Kelly's the whole time. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, Eden, I thought you were dead, you know?